Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, details from the shooting Wednesday night in Bloomington. We have the suspects and their charges tonight.
And we continue following that deadly mass shooting in Maine, the latest in the manhunt for the gunman.
Could let the Texas state spend billions of funds to build border barriers. Stay with us for the details.
We actually have some strong thunderstorms around the crossroads. Now here's the city. You can see how we don't have much going on here, but right about here from Cuero all the way to Hallettsville, there's some heavy storms rolling through that area. Question is, when will this go away and what does my weekend look like? We'll be talking more about that coming up in a moment.
And the athlete of the week is only a sophomore, yet he's trying to lead his team to the playoffs. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. The latest update in that shooting in Bloomington yesterday evening, just before 20 p.m., the Victoria County Sheriff's Office were alerted to a fight in a convenience store parking lot and the 100 block of South Shipley in Bloomington. While authorities on the way to the scene, they received another call that someone was shot. One person was hurt in that shooting and was taken to a hospital in Victoria, and 3 arrests were made in that shooting. Now authorities arrested 18-year-old Samuel Isaiah Isaac Barreza in connection to that shooting. He faces a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
17-year-old Zachary Gonzalez was also arrested in connection to the shooting. He faces a similar charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
And 21-year-old LaJame Norman was also arrested but was released from the Victoria County Jail. He still faces the deadly conduct charge. This is now an ongoing investigation. And next Tuesday, a global hunger strike is taking place to hold a subsidiary of the Formosa Plastics Group accountable. This comes after their lack of response to an environmental disaster. In 2016, the plant responsible released large amounts of toxic chemicals into the sea, devastating the marine life and the hundreds of lives of Vietnamese people, many of whom still haven't received compensation. Despite Formosa paying $500 million to the Vietnamese government, the hunger strike will take place after a press conference in front of Formosa Plastics Point Comfort facility.
In this Texas constitutional amendment election, Proposition 6 would create the Texas Water Fund to help financing water projects in this state. The Texas Water Fund would be run by the Texas Water Development Board. Proposition 6 would create a special fund in the state treasury outside the General Revenue Fund. The money from this fund would be used to fix aging and failing pipes and to build out new water supply. Election day is Tuesday, November 7th.
Here is your viewer poll this evening. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, how do you plan to vote for Proposition 6? Are you for it or are you against it? According to our results, it looks like 82% are for it and 17% are against it. We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10. And Texans are voting on 14 constitutional amendments. Early voting runs through next Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and next Thursday and Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can vote at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A.
Survivors of the Pacific hurricane that killed at least 27 people as it devastated Acapulco spent Thursday searching for acquaintances and necessities and hoping that aid arrives quickly in the wake of Hurricane Otis. The president of Mexico said Otis had toppled every power line pole in the zone where it hit on Wednesday, leaving much of the city without electricity. Acapulco's municipal water system was down and some 500,000 homes lost power.
And with that, let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, we're getting some rain over here as well.
Yes, in fact, some of this is remnants of what used to be Norma, if you remember that. Here's the city right about there, and you can see how the heavier stuff is between Cuero and the Hallettsville area. It's all moving northbound. All of this because the whole system is moving to the north. This is why they had the tornadoes in the San Antonio area earlier today, but that is beginning to clear out as well as the whole system is moving eastward. We'll have more on your stormy weather for tonight and the better weather for the weekend coming up.
Mac, thank you. We now turn to national headlines where right now a mass shooting suspect is at large in Maine.
Authorities say the shooter opened fire in 2 locations, killing at least 18 people and injuring more than a dozen in Lewiston. That's about 36 miles from Portland.
2 mass shootings rocking Lewistown, Maine Wednesday night.
We got multiple victim type things, multiple victims. I need every unit you can find.
One at a restaurant, the other at a bowling alley, where video captured people running for safety.
Probably the hardest part, seeing just families pouring out of there, and knowing that happened in there while they were just probably trying to have a family night.
State police asked residents there and in the nearby cities of Auburn and Lisbon to stay indoors as they investigated throughout the night. Several schools in the area canceling classes Thursday.
I've been stomping these grounds since I was 19 years old, and I'm just overwhelmed.
Soon after the shootings, the Androscoggin County Sheriff's Office released these images of a suspect seen here holding a high-powered assault-style rifle. Police identified 40-year-old Robert Card as a person of interest in the shooting.
Card is considered armed and dangerous. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way.
Auburn Mayor Jason Levesque says the community is in shock.
Well, there's fear, there's panic, of course there's worry, understandable. I mean, this is an all hands on deck situation. So yeah, you can train for this, but you can never be completely prepared.
In Lewistown, Maine, I'm Gloria Pasmino.
This mass shooting is the deadliest in the U.S. since last year's school shooting in Uvalde. And here's more on what we know. 40-year-old Robert Card's white Subaru was found in Lisbon, just southeast of Lewiston, Maine. Card has been a U.S. Army reservist since December of 2002, where he served as a sergeant first class and worked as a petroleum supply specialist.
Authorities also say Card's family is cooperating, and Card's sister believes he might have been looking for his ex-girlfriend at both of these shooting locations, but at this time authorities are not able to confirm a motive as the manhunt continues. And Wednesday, the Senate approved an amendment that would make it easier for veterans with mental illness to bypass background checks when buying weapons. It's a sign of how there is no regard for gun control legislation in Congress at the moment, despite public outcry. 3 Democrats joined Republicans in supporting the amendment, as well as 2 independent senators who caucus with Democrats. And the Gun Violence Archive reports the U.S. has had 318 deaths due to mass shootings in the past year, and 67,000 plus people were hurt in mass shootings this year alone. And America has had more mass shootings than days this year so far.
The U.S. has had at least 565 mass shootings so far this year. This averages out to almost 2 mass shootings a day. Mass shootings are defined as an incident in which 4 or more victims are shot or killed. The U.S. had 645 mass shootings in 2022 and 690 in 2021. At this time last year, America had 559 mass shootings.
The Texas House in the early morning hours of Thursday approved 3 bills aimed at beefing up border security. The Texas Tribune reports House Bill 4 would create a new state crime for illegally entering Texas from Mexico, authorize state police to arrest violators, and allow officers to return migrants to a port of entry and order them to return to Mexico. A first-time offender could be convicted of a misdemeanor. The penalty would then jump to a felony, punishable by up to 2 years in prison for repeat offenders.
House Bill 6 would let the state spend $1.5 billion to fund Governor Greg Abbott's efforts to build border barriers along different parts of the border. The bill says the state would pay 5 contractors to erect an additional 50 miles of border barriers and maintain the currently planned 40 miles of barrier. If the bill is approved, the state could have about 100 miles of border barrier by September 2026. The Texas House also passed Senate Bill 4, which would increase the minimum sentence from 2 years to 10 years for smuggling immigrants or operating a stash house. The bill now goes to the governor's office for consideration. Democrats said the definition of smuggling in the bill is too broad and could lead to law enforcement officers targeting people giving rides to friends or family.
Some North Texas residents woke up to flooding conditions this morning. Heavy rains led to high water rescues in McKinney. Fire crews pulled 3 people and a dog from a flooded creek. This was one of 4 separate calls for water rescues that fire crews responded to overnight and into the morning. Parts of North Texas were hit by more than 5 inches of rain, and more is expected over the next few days.
A brief tornado touched down this morning in San Antonio. The weak tornado was spotted on a meteorologist's camera just after 8 a.m. on the north side of the city. The National Weather Service confirmed the brief tornado touchdown and had a survey team out to access the damage and determine the strength of the twister. No one was reported hurt, but there were some downed trees and damage to vehicles. The San Antonio Zoo confirmed that all animals were safe and secure.
Gas prices keep falling in Victoria. AAA Texas reports the average gas price per gallon in Victoria is $2.90. That's 8 cents per gallon less than a week ago and 41 cents cheaper per gallon than 1 month ago. The average gas price in Texas is $3.02 per gallon. AAA reports lower gas demand along with declining oil prices has contributed to pushing pump prices down.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. You can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. A 3-year-old boy in Central Texas might be the youngest entrepreneur yet. Straight ahead on 25 News now at 5, the reasons behind his small business.
Also ahead, Domino's Pizza is giving out free pizza if you have student loans. This might be for you.
Southwest Airlines pilots lined up outside the carrier's headquarters Thursday morning. They did it to bring attention to ongoing talks over scheduling and what they say are culture issues that have plagued the company in recent years. KERA reports Southwest is the only major airline that has not reached a deal with its pilots. The Southwest Airlines Pilots Association represents more than 10,000 pilots. ERCOT wants approval from the Public Utility Commission for a rate increase for 2024 and 2025. The Houston Chronicle reports the rate increase ERCOT wants would cost average residential customers less than 20 cents a month. ERCOT President CEO Pablo Vegas said the rate increase request is larger because ERCOT has not increased the fee since 2016.
A 3-year-old in Central Texas might be the youngest business owner yet.
His name is Marek Gomez, and he started selling ice pops in July in an effort by his parents to teach the young man financial responsibility.
When you hear that sound, you can expect something sweet.
What do you say? Come get your paletas.
It's a pretty sweet deal for the 3-year-old Marek Gomez, who runs the M&M Paletas cart.
Well, we learned about where we should put our money, right?
In the bank.
In the bank, yeah.
This all started when his parents went to the store several times and noticed the toddler always wanted a toy. That added up quickly, and they realized they couldn't afford one every time.
My husband had came up with the idea that he could have anything he wants as long as he's willing to work for it. So let's teach him how to earn money.
So M&M Paletas was born.
M is for Merrick, that's his name, and then his brother is Malik.
30% of his earnings go towards savings, 25% to pay back business supplies, 10% for tithing, and 35% for spending on toys.
I ask him every time, how much do you want to put in the bank? And he's pretty consistent on the amount. It's usually about 30%.
Merrick is also learning about goal setting. Whenever he and his family visit the store, they let him pick out a toy that he can only buy if he gets enough money.
What have you bought with your money?
The Batmobile with the grappling hook.
The big Batmobile with a grappling hook? Yeah.
It's these lessons that his parents hope he'll carry with him forever.
You can have anything you want in life as long as you're willing to work for it.
In Temple, Alex Fulton, KWTX News 10.
Domino's understands people might be feeling the pinch now that student loan repayments have resumed. So to help out, they are giving away $1 million worth of emergency pizza. Each day, the chain is offering 4,200 codes for a free medium 2-topping pizza that will continue until it reaches $1 million. Codes must be redeemed by December 10th, and customers can apply at domino's.com/student-loans.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Lots of cloud cover over the area. So far here in the city, we haven't had any significant rainfall, but up the road, it's raining heavily in the Hallettsville area. And we'll talk more about what you expect tonight and what comes up for the weekend. All that coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. Interesting day around the area. We're hoping for the rain, but it's been sort of skirting around us. Now, we did have a few showers here in Victoria, but the heavy stuff has really been out to the west, and you can see how it all is moving northbound, and I don't see any more incoming. So basically, whatever we get this evening, it'll be it until tomorrow afternoon. This is the big long band of thunder showers that gave 5 inches of rain to Dallas, 2 inches of rain to Austin, and of course that tornado activity they had this morning in San Antonio. There's about 4 areas where they might have had some damage. These were very brief little funnel clouds, but nonetheless it scared a lot of people. Now this is the remnants of what used to be Norma. Otis is way down here south of Brownsville, so not the concern. Here's the videotape from San Antonio. You can see how it's raining. It's about 8 o'clock this morning when they started seeing this, and everybody got nervous and we're going, where is it going? It touched down and landed for maybe 10 seconds, then went back up and fell apart. Nonetheless, they're going to be checking all the damage tomorrow with the Weather Service to see what actually hit ground. Now here's the city again. You can see how Victoria has been relatively dry today. I mean, we did have a little bit of activity, but no significant rainfall. And when I say I don't see anything incoming, it would be coming up from the south up into our area. So we're watching all that stuff go north. Now, here is Victoria again, and you can see how there was maybe a half an inch of rain out on the west side of the city, but that doesn't compare to what's going on up north. There you saw the heavy rain over San Antonio all the way up I-35, and of course North Texas really under the gun last night, and so was, this is the last 24 hours, so was far west Texas. Tonight, after the shower activity that's sort of rolling around, we'll get to a low only of about 75. Tomorrow will be again on the warm side, up to about 84. This is the only place where we may have some severe weather tonight. And of course, this is for tonight, and this is marginal activity. Basically, Dallas all the way to about San Antonio. Victoria City is just to the south of that. So I think that by tomorrow, though, we'll have less severe chance, but we will see more activity, especially during the afternoon hours. I'm thinking the following. Tonight's rain will decrease. Then we'll look for a little clearing in the morning, and then we'll have more pop-ups on Friday afternoon, hopefully gone by Friday night. Here's, of course, the dry line that's coming in, triggering all that activity. And then we watch and wait for the big front coming through. I think their weekend is going to be okay, but then this big cold dome of air will be parked on top of us, giving us some rather interesting weather for early next week. Here is your high tide and low tide for those of you that might go fishing. I don't think it's going to be a good morning. It's going to be rather choppy. Your sunrise, by the way, is at 7:36. So here's your day planner for those of you in Port Lavaca, 78 up to 84. Looking for cloud cover in the morning hour. The thunder showers probably not until the afternoon. And then in Cuero, we're looking for a 76 and then an 83 with the shower activity in the afternoon. 7-day forecast gets very interesting for the Crossroads. It'll clear up and be partly cloudy for Saturday and Sunday. Midnight, Sunday night, howling cold front. You could even call it a blue norther if you like. Strong winds blowing to 30 miles an hour on Monday with a high of only 56. On Halloween Eve, it'll be in the 50s, so make sure you get an extra layer of jacketing for all the little witches and goblins getting ready for Halloween. It's going to be windy and cold on that night. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code, and we want you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And now here's Sports Director Gina Perez.
Thanks, Karina. The Houston Astros are looking for a new manager. Find out why after the break. At Crossroads, the St. Joseph Flyers football team is on a 4-game win streak and is in part to a young running back who joined the team earlier in the year, and he does not have a fumble all season. Sophomore running back Dedrick Callis joined the St. Joseph Flyers football team during the Luling game earlier this year and says they are like family. The running back said he has been playing football for 12 years and got into the sport so that he can live out his dream of making it to the NFL and being able to provide for his family.
It started off with We started off in apartments, and I was like, Mom, I need to play. I need to start like building up my life with, you know, with us and stuff, and it just carried on from there to now. So.
Callis is the eldest of 3 with 2 younger sisters, and he tries to be a role model for them by staying humble in his accomplishments and asking himself what he can do for his family and his team. When Callis is in the backfield, he has multiple things on his mind to make sure he does his best and does not become a burden to his team.
It's not, I mean, I don't think of myself the fastest on the team. It's like me thinking I'm the slowest on the team. So I feel like when I run in the ball, it's like a dog chasing me. So I'm not looking behind me while I'm running. So I'm just like looking into the end zone.
The 5'8" running back fractured his ankle 2 times after running into a pothole before scoring a touchdown a few years ago. Now he has to wear special socks to prevent high ankle sprains in the future.
I stepped on it, and then they thought I had sprained it. High sprain, swollen, wrapped it up, whatever. And I went back into the game and scored two touchdowns. I had 4 touchdowns that game. And I mean, I was playing through a fracture like the whole season, so I didn't realize it until the end of the season.
Callis had a monster game against the TMI Episcopal Panthers, recording his first 300-yard game this season, and also scampered his way into the end zone 3 times on just 13 attempts. This is the second time he has scored 3 touchdowns in a game this year, and Callis has earned the Athlete of the Week and will look to have a similar game tomorrow when the St. Joseph Flyers take on St. Michael's in Austin. Dusty Baker, the manager of the Houston Astros, is stepping down. At a press conference at Minute Maid Park, Baker thanked the Astros for giving him the opportunity to lead them on the field. He guided the Astros for 4 seasons, finally getting his first World Series win as a manager last year. The 74-year-old is also one of 3 black managers to win a World Series. And we have an announcement to all our NFL fans out there. This Sunday, Fox 19 will air the Texans game against the Panthers, not the Dallas Cowboys game. This is not our decision. It is made by the NFL. It is because we are geographically closer to Houston than Dallas. Once again, we are sorry for the inconvenience. Well, that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Tina. We're back in a moment. The first accumulating snow of the season is affecting portions of North Dakota and Montana this week.
And finally tonight, look at this. It's not even Halloween. It's not even Thanksgiving, but the first accumulating snow of the season is impacting portions of North Dakota and Montana this week. this week. More than an inch of snow has fallen in Bismarck, North Dakota, and as you can see, it's still coming down. Roads are starting to get a little slippery around town, but in the western part of the state, conditions are even worse there. Now, you know, a lot of people like snow, especially this time of year.
Real pretty.
It's real pretty. It's real pretty when you see the video. Driving in it,
not so
pretty. Not so pretty.
In fact, I have friends who are in Minnesota, and they have a winter car and a summer car.
You have to.
The winter car is more of the bumper car, you know, because you never know what's going to happen. So you got to have one for each season. But and that's just the beginning, because next week when we get the cold snap, they're going to get a real big snow out of that too. So, folks, tonight we do have some storms around the area. Most of it north up toward the Hallettsville, Schulenburg area. But after midnight tonight, a lot of that will pull away. Tomorrow, that 50% is for the afternoon hours. And then by evening, a lot of that is going to decrease. Hopefully, we won't have a problem with football. The weekend looks okay, as a matter of fact. And then get ready. The big howling cold front comes in on midnight Sunday night. So Monday morning, you're going to be reaching into the closet going, where is my coat? You're going to need them for the early part of next week. Winter jackets.
Well, it is that time of year, kind of.
Yep, it is.
All right, Mag, thank you, and thanks for joining us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.